Job was a very righteous man with a powerful testimony of Jehovah and was a healthy, wealthy, successful father of 10. Life was good. But then he began to lose everything. His home, his crops, his children, his health. Even his breath was strange to his wife. Whatever that means. Yet pretty much everything terrible was suddenly dumped on his plate. So why do bad things happen to good people? If Heavenly Father loves us, shouldn't He just rain down blessings on the good and curses on the bad? Jesus comforted Joseph Smith in Liberty Jail, saying, "Thou art not yet as Job." Yes, Job was a real man who endured terrible trials. But his story isn't a history, rather a poetic book of wisdom, which is why it appears here next to Psalms and Proverbs. As poetry, it contains lots of symbolism. For example, in chapter 1, we know that Christ doesn't really make agreements with Satan, and since the Lord has all power, He really has no need to bargain with him. So it's not an actual conversation in heaven, but more like a dramatic intro. And so it begins. Life is great for Job, until everything suddenly goes horribly wrong. Job's being tested to see if he'll remain true to Jehovah, even if he isn't prosperous or healthy. His story sets an example for all of us to never give up, even when life falls apart, and allows us to watch someone else endure trials in a righteous way. So 3 of Job's friends come over to comfort him. In the first week they do great by just sitting and mourning with him without saying a word. But the second week, they begin to talk for like 20 chapters. They reason with Job that he must be bad to receive all of these punishments. Job's friends are great examples of what not to do. Job even refers to them as miserable comforters. Unsurprisingly, they only increase Job's pain rather than helping him feel better. His first friend Eliphaz says, "Dude, you must be super evil and sinning a ton, right?" Perhaps "I don't know everything you're going through, but I'm here to support you" would have been more helpful. Zophar says, "Don't you know the wicked are only happy for a short time?" What are you trying to say, Zophar? Don't sugarcoat it. Maybe a real friend might say, "I care about you very much and would love to help." Bildad then insinuates, "If you were pure, the Lord would make you prosperous." Could he have brought over some chocolate chip cookies and then just given Job a hug instead? Today, we experience so many trials, regardless of our modern conveniences. And poverty, anxiety, depression, and suffering are all around us. Our friends don't need us to judge them. So, perhaps the best way to help is to simply let them know that we want to comfort them and take away part of their pain, and sincerely ask, "How can I do that?" Often just letting others know we care and don't have to go through the trial alone is worth more than 1,000 other awkward words. So why do terrible things happen to good and honest people? Are death, disease, and destruction a sign of God's disapproval? Or a key part of mortality? Well, sometimes trials come from our choices, sometimes others' choices, and sometimes, like with Job, they just happen. We know that with the human body comes pain and sickness, but there is purpose in pain, and maybe even growth in groveling. Truthfully, life isn't meant to be insta-fabulous. Rather, prophets teach that tests are a necessary and important part of life by giving us experience, instruction, and growth. And even if they're absolutely miserable, trials refine and purify us. It's like the true analogy that for silver to be purified, it must go through an intense heating process. Without unbelievably hot temperatures and a meticulous refining process, the contaminants can't be properly removed to leave behind only what's pure, precious, and holy. Indeed, The process is completed by the master only when he can see his image reflected in the metal. God weeps for our pain as we suffer, but he knows it's necessary for our growth. Now, despite complaining about his huge trials, Job never stops bearing witness of a loving God. His is a wonderful example of becoming better, not bitter. And in the end, the Lord blesses Job for his faithfulness by rewarding him with a large family once again, granting him double the possessions he lost, and restoring his health and career. Amazing! We too can receive great rewards if we remain true and faithful. However, let's be clear, those rewards may not come in this life like they did for Job. Rather, Job's rewards are symbolic of the eternal rewards awaiting us if we remain true. And though we may have to wait for heaven to receive God's promised blessings of all things, great shall be our reward and eternal our glory. God didn't abandon Job, and he won't abandon us either. If you're seeking more comfort and inspiration, stick around for our next video.